Okay, let me test the audio. Let me let me see how it sounds, and with that we should be fine, right? We should be properly working with the audio itself. Let me see. Do we have good audio? Do we have working audio? Mostly. Do we have, I didn't have the sound. I get it. Is it working? Okay, yeah, there it is, there it is. Then give me a second. Let me close this. Ping, ping. Let me hide this for a second. Pim, pom. Pim, 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 pim. Pim, 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 pim. Pip, 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 pip. Pip, pip, pip. Pip, 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 pip. Here I am. Hello, everybody. I almost ran a little bit later than what I expected, but anyways, we're here. We are pretty fun, you know. We are amazingly good. I hello everybody, welcome another night. Welcome, hello. We are pretty fine. We are doing very great. We have a lot of things as always to talk about because this is another night for things to be discussed. So yeah, let me first and foremost do the first thing, the most important thing, that is to send on chat list itself. Just in case there it is. There it is. And now I think. Yeah, wait. I was forgetting about something else. There it is. Now for real, we can properly say that we are starting. We can properly say that here we are. Hello everybody. The bot seems to not be working, right? The bot is there, right? Oh no, my dear bot. Why did you decide to die? Let me check. Let me. Is it even working? I think we don't have a bot. Yeah. I think we lost the bot in the sense of it is crashed or something like that. No, what? It did its job about no. What? Is it working or is it not working? It sent the thing on here on the Discord. What? I don't know. What? I don't know. I don't really know. Okay. Aside from that, then. Oh my god. We well, we are pretty fun. We are amazingly good. I almost I don't know. I haven't. Let me get comfy on my chair. Let me get my apple and let me start this stream officially with the first bite. Well, I say I have been struggling a lot with my energy lately because not only do I don't know. I think I was going to say I kind of suffer from the heat, but at this point I am learning, and it seems very important to also not have a negative image about oneself. So I don't know how to properly say it. Like I tended, or I had a tendency in the past to suffer a lot from pain, from heat, and from overall physical or also physical exertion when it was too hot. So because of that same reason and because of those clumps of things, I ended up kind of well, not just because of that, not simply that they exist, therefore I got tired. Rather, we had been having, I think, so far one of the roughest last 7 days or so that I have had in a long time because if I'm not wrong, it started on what is it on Thursday of the last week, and it has been only going on and on and on. I think today, no, not even today. I really had the possibility of arresting, And also, hello, strip Panso. Wait, 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 Panso. I think you kind of know it, right? Or you do not know it because do you know something about me or not? Where I am from, because I it was, in a sense, it was obviously late, why all of the questions that I did automatically. you know you know anything about it, dear strict answer, because mi pana, yo también soy argentino, basically that. Mm, yeah. I mean, we tend to have a lot of heavy accent. I have been noticing that, I think it is part of being Argentinian, I guess. I don't know. We are the, or well, I am trying my best to not have it so noticeable. Yeah, Argentina. It is, it is beautiful to have those amazing Argentinian qualities. I mean, yeah, in a sense, it is una word. And also, sorry, welcome, crack, welcome. But I mean, it isn't that we cannot avoid those mistakes, It is rather that we need to pay a little bit more of attention, I would say. Probably it is kind of the same as if you were to have a Russian accent. You only need to be conscious about the ways in which you pronounce words, basically. Because if you really were paying attention, you will not have such a strong accent so that other people will really notice where you are from. I mean, somebody once, or well, it is kind of random, Once one guy came here and said, "Are you from Brooklyn?" It was amazing. Somebody asked me if I was from Brooklyn. So some people doesn't really notice those kind of accents that much, Yeah, Brooklyn. That's in Brooklyn, the one that is on USA, Yeah. On the other hand, I mean, probably up in tier means that it has not that much of a sense, or not that much of a specific location, because overall, I think personally, if I didn't see your own profile on other sites, I wouldn't have ever guessed that you were Argentinian, because yeah, I think so far from the ones I have met, you are the one who is the most capable of hiding his power level. The, all the rest of us really have that problems. The most eminent ones are with the R, something that we cannot get rid of, because you really have to pronounce kind of the R strongly, and if you do not do it on Spanish, it loses all sense, and you somehow were able to censor that. Also, well, the whole thing that happens when you are speaking Argentinian and Spanish, that is, you have that kind of intonation in which you are almost always singing your things and trying to end them in a higher note, always. That thing, when you have the capacity of getting rid of it, you also lose a lot of your accent, but it is a part of the process. And the most important part itself of, yes, speaking English is of being able to properly say things rather than to get lost in the way in which you say anything. Because if you really don't have the possibility, and you really kind of mm, I will say like this: if you ever focus on simply not having an accent, you are going to miss the most important part, that is properly saying things. Because sometimes having an accent isn't that much important when what you are saying, or having or not an accent, is not that much important when what you are saying makes literal nonsense because you are spending most of your brain energy trying to put together a coherent sentence instead of trying your best to speak with one of the cleanest accents that you can make because you want nobody to notice where you are from, you know. So yeah, I mean, no, I don't think it is ever that bad. It only is something that requires time and requires even more mm, repetition, I will say. Overall, we cannot avoid to repeat the same mistakes, even if we kind of know how to fix them at least one or two or three or four times before really being able to fix them. And not in general, anybody will struggle with the task of learning a new language, a new accent, if they are trying to make that, and overall anything, I would even say. Because in life itself, you cannot avoid but to find kind of that necessity of adapting and even more having, so to speak, the capacity of overcoming those errors no matter how many times you do them. Because the objective itself is not to stop committing errors, is to make that which you are realizing or which you are working on something proper, let's say. So yeah, I guess it is kind of crazy. Also, nowadays, I think in the community of Argentinian streamers or Argentinian English Vtubers is growing bigger and bigger. I don't know why it is happening, but it is basically. I don't have a reason, I don't have a knowledge as to why it happened or anything like that, but yes, it is probably happening. So yeah, mm, basically, I would measure a momento because I have at this point. Let me recount. One, two, three, four. I think I have seen so far 10. Yeah, 10 Argentinian streamers or so. Or well, if they are not Argentinian, they are at the very least from Messi. Yes, Messi. They are also from Uruguay, which also has the very similar accent. So it is in the sense of accents, it is literally the same to be Argentinian or to be what is it, Uruguayan. So in that particular sense, it is literally no different one from the other. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, Uruguay itself doesn't have that much of a difference on the culture over Argentina. Aside from the most impactful thing is the difference over the whole creativity side that they have, because that one particular law, which enabled them to have such amazing things like free marijuana for everyone, I think it was, it literally makes, or well, not free, free to consume marijuana for everyone, or without any repercussions, ended up making that country a lot more creative. And that basically ended up giving them kind of I don't know if it is a boost or not. I haven't really stopped to analyze it properly, but they have a big difference because of that. their whole citizenship is a lot more cheerful than the average uh, Argentinian boy or Argentinian man, And I guess I don't know. Maybe it is also because they aren't struggling that much with their economy. I will guess. Probably, I hope. But well, thank you, Pancho, for sharing your experience. And sorry if I kind of forced you to talk. It wasn't my intention. Sorry. I just wanted to tell you that just in case, because sometimes I tend to forget that people might not completely know completely who I am, so they might get angry if I pester them so much. Mm, okay. No problem, no problem. Thank you. Then truly thank you if you are like that. Mm, hmm? What? You what? Sick or what is it? Allergies. Sick or allergies? What the fuck? How did you get sick? Literally after one stream? What? Um, go to rest. Thank you for being here. What? Um, take rest, my brother. What? What? Oh my god! You need to take care. Sigma is kind of dangerous. No, Ligma. No, Ligma is a dangerous um, and very infectious disease. So yeah, please take care. Stay safe and stay hydrated. Mm. Good night. Well, people, amazing. No, I have been eating my apple so far. I have been not having that much of a problem. I think the only particular thing that I have been observing kind of closely is it has some brown spots over it. Like it is mildly rotten, mildly, but still they are digestible. So yeah, I am not going to. Yeah, I am not going to distract myself from this. I am going to eat these particular spots. Hmm. Yeah. I am going to do it. I am going to do it. Believe in me. Give me so. Because I still have to get to them. You know. Okay, they weren't that bad. No, they were pretty fine. Yeah. So well, anyways, aside from that, hmm, I have been thinking a lot, and I have been basically, yeah, what a beautiful thing to, yeah, basically. somebody was probably not even paying attention, and out of nowhere they heard that, amazing. Thank you, Nico. But what I was going to say today, I have been analyzing, I have been going through, so to speak, a little bit of. Hmm, Wait, take this. Why? This motherfucker. Thank you, Lola Attack. this guy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is part of the beautiness, that I have literally a fucking scary face. No, I think I try my best to not make it, or well, kind of the opposite, to make it less scary, because after all, it was already kind of impactful to see it, and the expression that the eyebrows were giving was not one with which I was comfortable myself. So I decided to try and do my best to change them. At the very least, I had to pay attention. I had to go back into the already existing canonical model. I don't know. I simply went back and I analyzed what there was already. I did my best to change it, and here we are basically. It also obviously there were some other additions, some other finer details that were required, but it ended up looking pretty nice compared to the first draft. It was a big, so to speak, improvement, and compared to the second iteration, it also was better because now it looks more like what I had in my mind. But I guess in that same sense, also the only one I have to blame is myself. I never really stopped before to think about what I really wanted to have and what I really wanted to, so to speak, give off, so to speak, as a vibe with the image itself of the potato which we are utilizing. Because at the end of the day, the possibilities are, as always, in that sense, infinite. So, when I ended up going for a configuration that felt fine, I truly didn't have kind of any notion as if it was more improvable than what it already was born, let's say, because it had by itself, so to speak, some potential to get some improvements. The first version, I think it was really kind of bizarre in that sense. The second one finally went in a little bit more with a more solid idea as to what was happening, and what was kind of needed, because you cannot avoid to think that, let's say, having a part and having an addition that gives you the possibility even more of containing, I don't know, I don't think it is that much of a message, but simply of a clear vision or a clear kind of vibe, let's say. Because I think at the end of the day, the whole union of things is what creates this particular, so to speak, potato that we have in front of us. It is not only the potato itself, it is also the voice, it is also the background, it is also the sound, it is also the whole quality of the stream itself. It is the whole collection of things. And when everything kind of plays a good, yeah, when everything kind of falls into place, we end up with something that feels as good as this is, I think. And I mean, there is always also the possibility of improvement. I mean, I have been personally learning a little bit more about not being so to speak, angry and even less worried about the whole side of, you know, I shouldn't, so to speak, be so harsh on this whole adventure because there is no real reason for me to do it, and there is no real reason even less for me to, not in the sense of be harsh, but rather of being so unnecessarily, so to speak, condescendent with my own ideas in that sense, because I think I was still analyzing this idea the other day. It happens a lot of times that we kind of forget who we are, or that is how I was trying to see it. I was thinking about it this way. It probably happens that we kind of forget who we are in the sense of because we know our own story, we decide in all cases to ignore it. In the case of outsiders, and to that level I mean every single other person who is not ourselves, we have always the chance of saying, you know, my memory was failing me. My, so to speak, my capacity of remembering who you were and what was it that you went through left me, and I didn't really have the possibility of taking into account every single composing part about, so to speak, who I am in or who you are, sorry. But when we take that analogy and we apply it to ourselves, the possibility of always remembering who we are is never, so to speak, non-existent. Because you can always go back to your memories and you can always do the process itself of checking how your whole history makes you be who you are. And when you, in this case, as I was trying to say, when we as individuals try to, not try, I think it is kind of the opposite, not try to remember these things, we end up attributing more and attributing in a harsher way things that might as well be reproachable still, I think, but we do it in a manner in which there was never a real necessity for that to happen. You know? There was never a real, so to speak, not interest, but rather real obligation to be so completely distrustful with the ways in which we treat ourselves in that sense. I guess I don't really know. I was, as I said before, still thinking about it. And also, hello, welcome. So we're still eating a potato. What? Eating an apple. Sorry, I got distracted. Falling asleep. No. Anyways, I was saying so far, and I was while eating the apple, pondering a little bit, and yeah, probably eating a potato live. Wow. Mm, it could happen, you know. We could boil a potato, and I could eat it live, but the implications of that are too dangerous even for me myself to think. So we are not going to do that, you know. Hmm. Anyways, I hope you have a great time zone. I hope you can enjoy this stream. And as always, please relax. Because now what I wanted to keep saying was I think a great solution for it is to try and take into account who we are always. And even if the process itself ends up, so to speak, being not an easy one, the fruits of our efforts are rewarding enough to the degree to which we can find almost always a sense, I don't think of simply satisfaction, but rather of fulfillment. Because in this particular manner, when you catch your whole sense of who you are and you let it be instead of, so to speak, manipulating all the creating parts and even more, all the, so to speak, foundational parts of your, it is humanity? I think it is only consciousness. We will go with humanity because that was what appeared first on my mind. But yeah, it might as well not be the correct definition. When you accept that your humanity gives you more humbleness towards the way in which you treat yourself, it ends up kind of giving you a tool to properly advance at the face of your problems, I will say. I am not so sure because I think mm, having that kind of rectitude towards life that gives you the possibility of really accepting the moments where you screwed up and the moments where you really committed failures big enough to think that they are going, so to speak, to never be forgiven by anyone else. I mean, yeah, there are probably some people who needs to think about their problems in the most kind of kind of urgent manner, but not almost nobody really needs that. In a sense, okay, I think I have it. Not what I said is not true. It is like this. Nobody really needs to be so harsh on themselves. We need to be harsh on the problems that we have because they affect us to a level of the deepest degree, so to speak. And I refer to that in the sense of if you really forget who you are, and if you really forget what made you be who you had become, and you over focus simply on one particular problem and one simple occasion in which you failed, you will lose sight of your whole adventure. In the sense of you can, in that same sense as I said before, you can always go back and, so to speak, analyze your whole already existing time log. And when you do it, you find yourself, if you don't have it, I think, at the very least, at race as to what is your purpose in life. And if it isn't that you have, or if it is that you have found it, even more strengths to keep going because you also have the reasons. And I think at the very minimum, if you think you do not have the reasons, when you learn what it is that you want, you start to develop those reasons. And if you have never developed those particular motives for your actions, then it becomes your utmost priority because it is something that you yourself know that you need to work on those things, and you yourself know that you need, so to speak, to be aware and to take pride in the act of exploring all those singular experiences that end up making you who you want to be in the future. And yeah, I have been thinking a lot. I have been trying to not talk so much lately, and I also have been in a completely different manner with analyzing the ideas and all of that I have in my mind, And I have been in that same sense as I said before, trying to get things going and trying to not think so much, but rather to be able to let those particular moments be plastered over here because it is more needed, not only for me, but for this whole journey, so to speak, to have them here and to have the proof that we are doing something. Because let's say like this, even if it isn't the main concern that we have, if perchance somebody decides to attack us because we kind of have an idea, we kind of said something, and we do not have the proofs, it won't be true. It will be only their problem that they didn't check, so to speak, the whole backlog of things that we talk about. But yeah, I mean, that is more of a defensive stance rather than an understanding one. So yeah, I don't know. What I can really say is I finished my apple, so I have my apple heart at hand, and I need to go and throw it. So yeah, give me a second. I am back. Where did I get that potato? That grown potato? It is a gift, and I got it from. Let me check. I think I should still have it on my logo. Things. Let me see. What is it? Here. Control H. Potato. Are we back? Where are we back? The best thing, internet hasn't had any problem at all today. I don't know what the fuck happened just now. We're back. Tell me. Okay, there it is. It seems, I am not so sure that we are back. So anyways, here, I found it. I didn't found the specific source. I should check about it. And let me see. I think I have it around potato, cookies, potato, cute, potato. Bitly, no, Tenor. Here, it is over Tenor. I found it as a transparent potato gifts. Tenor.com. Let me search for it. It is a sticker. Yeah. Let me go for that particular. Here it is. This one was it. Let me copy this link and send it over here on chat. There it is. That's the source of everything, you know? And there it is. Amazing. Thank you. I never thought about it as where I got them. So I am glad at the very least I found the source, the original source, because I was going to simply leave you with tenor.com, but it at the very least the page itself isn't that hard to maneuver, let's say. So yeah, that's the source of the dancing potato, But give me a second, because now I think do I have anything else to really say? Well, yeah, I mean, I wanted to kind of bend out a little bit because I have been not really struggling, but rather observing and kind of contemplating my interest over really, so to speak, continuing with the book. Not because I have lost it, but rather because I have been having a lot of struggles, and even more because I have been really kind of confusing myself over what I want to put next and all of that. The most important thing, and that I cannot change it, is I need to write new things rather than to repeat the same topics. As I said before, I know that we are going to repeat them, and I know that we are going to go over those same topics over and over and over in the future. So, as much as I can create different topics and as much as I can cover different areas of, so to speak, this whole endeavor that is between psychology and philosophy, as much as I can cover this whole ground, the better. Because if I were to lose the possibility, and even more, if I were to lose the chance of going over all of these things, because I decided to focus on one particular topic itself, which I cannot even explain more than what has already been explained, because I myself still have a very shallow knowledge about almost everything about which I talk. Because of those particular reasons, I really need, in this sense, to have all of this collection of events, let's say, in order. So yeah, I have been trying my best to put it in a better shape. I only have, sorry, 2 paragraphs left to fully write, and after that I can finally send this second page, and I can stop worrying about it. But yeah, it is still kind of harsh and kind of hard to do it, So yeah. Aside from it, I think I don't have any comments on mine. If I'm not wrong. Yeah, no, nothing else. So yeah, let me add this over here and transition over here. And there it is. I don't know what else to say. What really else to add and what really else to talk about. So let us, this time for real, talk about the beautiful topics. Because yeah, it has come. The time has come. We don't have anything more to discuss, I think, so far. So yeah, we might as well start directly with the most beautiful thing, that is the list of topics, which gives us this whole reason to be here and this whole notion of interest. Because yes, in this particular night we have these four topics. They are terror. Four? Did I write four? Or did I write four on every single prize? I am amazing, you know. I didn't notice that, but it is terror for the right thing. Let me change it. Four. No, it is four, my brother. Yes. There it is, for the writings. The second one is the blessing of not knowing, which needs to be followed up is to the responsibility of knowledge, because they are very correlated, and those two I cannot separate. So yes, those two we are going to do one and directly two in a manner in which they are going to be directly related. So yeah, we're going to see how that goes. And after that, we finish with losing track of time, the concept of, in this particular sense, at least when I read it today, I was going to take it from the side of, we tend to have that whole experience and we tend to have that whole side of us which kind of loses track of time and even more loses track of our inner biological clock when we are doing particular things. So we're going to explore all of this in this beautiful night. And now, after finishing with everything else, we can really say that we are going to start with the first one, the terror for the ratings, which the topic itself kind of gives a very, very basic lead as to what it is that we're referring to. And it is not a notion about a necessity of having fear, but rather an interest and even more a proper, so to speak, capacity of developing inside of a notion and even more a correct assessment over our different fears. Because as humans, we tend to be paralyzed and we tend to, at the very least, be confronted with things which are going to arise inside of us, a lot of feelings, and they are never probably going to really feel great. Not because they mean and because they are made to not be something that we can feel greatly, but rather because we do not completely understand them and because we do not take our time to understand them. So, in this sense, we are speaking about having the correct, so to speak, fear in the manner of notion that allows us to really see and to really properly convey inside of ourselves, inside of, let's say, conscious mind, the interest of comprehension and even more the interest of real analysis over any single part of this, because we can never simply try to, let's say, be afraid of something. We can never be afraid of things that we never explored, but in that particular, so to speak, paragraph lies also the important message, and that is when you find, and even more, when you understand that you have the possibility of developing in you for those things that you already had before a feeling, and even a stronger one, and even a stronger sense of whatever it is. In this particular case, we're talking about terror and the sense of frightening. We also grasp the possibility of reshaping that whole sentiment and that whole, so to speak, almost freezing terror that takes control of our body, of our mind, and repurpose all of that for the sake of advancing and for the sake of we need also to accept in this particular sense that we need to be afraid of things. So we find what it is that we really want in our lives, won't ever have in our lives, and won't ever wish not only to us but also probably to no other living being to suffer in their whole life. We understand them, we grasp them, and we start, so to speak, to not only understand that they are something that creates inside of us a sense of fear, but also that if it is something that really creates as much fear as possible, we might as well start developing barriers and we might as well start developing a proper understanding about how to never have it happen to us, how to never have it exist in front of us. And also, when, and this is kind of hard to say, when we find in ourselves fears that we think are proper ones, like the fear of death, the fear of losing someone dear, the fear of, so to speak, changing places, changing locations, changing where it is that we live. When we have all of these things existing in us, we also need to understand that some of them are born from a, so to speak, deeper notion, are born from a deeper part of us. They are not really, so to speak, there to simply be and to simply ignite in us an already existing terror. No, they are born because they are referring to other concepts, and it is ourselves who need to tell and who need to explore and to analyze what it is that we really feel when we let those particular things take control of us. Because it is always easy to blame others, and it is always, so to speak, easy to let others take control of us. In this case, even more. Sorry, when we talk about fears, because in a, so to speak, very accepted manner, the fears that we have start to be independent from us the moment in which we let them take more control than what they really need. So it also needs to be born from the understanding and the notion and the comprehension of, if I let these things grow even bigger than what they already are, I will lose myself. Not because simply I have too much fear, but rather because the fear itself, which I let grow, ended up taking control over my conscious existence and over my, so to speak, whole. I think proper way to say it is will. I think I can't properly put it into correct words, but it always is amazing. It needs to be analyzed properly, and I think that is a good way to close it. Well, now before moving on to the second topic, let me answer you, Inco. Sorry for not doing it earlier, because yes, I think I read a question that is, what is a good memory that I have in McDonald's? I think I haven't been that many times to there, but I think a good one was when I went there with my family, probably. When I went there, well, we never went with my whole family. So yeah, when we went there with those who were at the time present with my family, let's say, it was one of the most beautiful experiences, because even more here in this side of the world, it has never been easy to go to a place like McDonald's, and it meant that we were kind of economically stable enough to the degree to which we had the possibility to enter, But yeah, it was a very good memory. After all, the food that they make there might not be the tastiest, but it still fulfills the bare minimum, let's say. So for the price that you're paying, even more. So yes, I guess that is a way to say it. I guess I don't really know, but well, if you have another question, Ginko, remember to ask it. And if not, we are moving on to the second topic. Let me what? Let me here. There it is. And okay, now, as I said before, also thank you Ingo for your question. Second topic. In this particular night, we're going for the blessing of not knowing. Preface of the topic is when we speak about the idea of having a blessing, we're referring to something that is very good and is almost an interest that we should seek and a boon that we should want to receive, let's say. But in this particular case, we're not only going to talk about being ignorant and not knowing the world which is around us, but also what it means to have that knowledge and what it means to be, in a sense, and I think it is hard to not say, be responsible for our own understandings about the world. So yes, into the first part of the topic itself, the blessing of not knowing, we are referring, as I said before, to the concept of when a man does not know where it is that they are and how it is that their whole world functions, even more if it is, so to speak, a rotten place, they feel like they can belong anywhere because they do not have such a depth and even more such a complex understanding about everything that they cannot see and they cannot think that they could not fit on whatever part of the world they fall, whatever side of the world they arrive, whatever, so to speak, city they find themselves in. So yes, this whole idea is, let's say like this, when you do not know the situations that are around you, you think everything is great. And the sad part of this is people think it is needed to know and it is needed for you to have a concept, when in reality, in a sense, those who live their lives while knowing the least are not simply the happiest, but are the ones who occupy their minds with the matters which they know are the most concerning ones and they know are the most important ones to them. Because when you also develop the capacity of not delving into the whole world, which you might see from afar and which you might have an interest in exploring, but rather to decide to only focus your time on the things that, as I said before, really call your attention in the moment, you start to see that it is beautiful and to a degree it is a good thing to never worry, and it is a good thing to never have the responsibility because we're not yet going to explore that, but because you do not know what it is that you might have to do, you can never properly take action. One particular thing that might happen, and that is true, is in almost a segue manner, when you stop to analyze and when you stop to observe the world itself, you might slowly realize that there are some things that need to be done. No matter if you before understood it or not, you will always need to work on those parts. And if you didn't understand them before, it meant that you were not fulfilling your part, and it meant that you were not taking, in this particular sense, the responsibility that lies in your hand. And in this case, now properly segueing into the second part of the topic, we're not referring to the idea, of you need, so to speak, to know everything, but rather you only need to be concerned about the matters that are a priority for you. Because it is in that exploration, and even more, it is in that whole process of understanding, delving, and even more conceptualizing everything around you that you see why it is that you have a responsibility. And this same explanation is given to why it is also that you see that your knowledge ends up being a tool for you. Because others also like to say, and others also even, so to speak, find an enjoyment in thinking that yes, if you do not know things, you are going to be happy. When in reality, it is through the carry of your own burden that you find gratification. It is through the process of so to speak, traversing the whole reality in which you find yourself immersed and properly, so to speak, forming part of that you can say you are enjoying things. Because if you think you don't have the necessity, and if you think you do not have even more an obligation to fulfill any role at all in the places in which you exist, it means you still are blessed with the unknown, and you are blessed even more with the unwinding capacity of never accepting that part of you. Because, and in this case, the responsibility of knowing starts to show itself, in a sense, when you start to develop those concepts even more, and when you start to comprehend how much these things apply, not only to your job, not only to your school, not only to your college, not only to your family, not only to yourself, but rather to every single part of life. Because if you never take it seriously, and if you never take it with, in a sense, a grain of salt, because you know that you need to do your things, but at the same time, you also need to know that it is important for you to do them in a proper manner and not in a hurried one. You start also to properly engage in action, and you start also to properly even more find yourself interested more and more in having more responsibility, more knowledge, because it is also in that whole exploration and in that whole side of yourself that you can properly say, and you can even more properly assess how much of a responsibility you will really have, and how much of a responsibility you will really find yourself handling in those occasions. Because nobody can really tell you if it is that you are going to be able to do it or not. Only you yourself can do it. And only in your own case, if you try hard enough for it or not, you will really have the possibility of observing that. Nobody else can really tell nothing aside from this to you. It is your journey, but it is also the beauty of that, in which you find that you can explore it as much as you can and in the ways in which you desire. So, yes, the responsibility of knowing is not an overwhelming one, but rather one in which you find yourself overjoyed and overwhelmed, but not by sadness, rather by shyness, because you see how much you can change things as long as you're trying, and how much you can even more process things and allow them to be what you want them to be through your own efforts. So yes, I think that is a good way to end it, because we are not simply going for another positive message. It is, as I have said before, a simple reminder about this part of life. So yeah, we are somehow we are kind of speeding up to the topics. I guess I kind of forgot to have a proper track of time today. It isn't that I forgot, I wanted to test, but I was. Till, till no, fourth topic, fourth and final topic, that is losing the track of time. Well, as I have said before, the explanation is losing track of time refers to the concept in which we enter, in this case we're referring mostly to the concept of the soul, to the concept of being so completely focused on something that everything else loses any real importance. Anything else stops being a matter of any weight for us. And we only are capable of observing that which we have in front of us. And why we are speaking about the track of time and losing it in this sense, when we are really speaking about mostly through or about, yes, the whole reality that is to be concentrated on anything, because we're putting here and we're even more observing and analyzing these parts as an advantage, because a lot of time we tend to think that we are condemned by the slow passage of time, by the simple and unavoidable ticking of our clocks, let's say, when in reality the opposite is we have the possibility of entering a state in which we can not worry about anything else, but only think, only pay attention to those things which we really find interesting and which we really have even more a well developed sense of entertainment for. Because, and that is kind of a random thing to say, you never understand how much you really care about something unless you find yourself doing it for far more expected time than you could have ever done before. It only is a notion that you have, and even more, a notion that you develop when you pay attention to it. You are not expected to, out of nowhere, be created, and even less you cannot be observing that it will appear in front of you if you are not taking action, if you are not trying to get it done, and if you are not, even more as I said before, letting yourself be completely concentrated in those things. In this part, I would guess it is kind of needed to add that obviously, with the whole side of understanding and even more having a desire to accelerate them or to make it even slower, because sometimes the opposite can also happen when we're so incredibly concentrated on something. It might feel like hours and hours have passed, when in reality it has been only minutes. It also is completely possible to achieve that. In this case, we are referring to the idea of you need to let other things disappear from your mind, and you need to only pay attention and to only find yourself interested in those things which you are obviously having a previous notion that you want or you should do. And I guess the hard way to say it is you need to create it inside of you. If you don't have it, and if you already found it, you need to simply let that fire consume everything else. Because obviously, I guess we are speaking about it from the sense of we want to have this, no matter if it is that the time feels longer, that the time feels shorter, no matter what it is, we want to have this happen. The opposite will basically be if you notice that you're spending so much more or so much less time that you should really be on the things that you really care for, kind of obviously it needs to be done, or it needs or requires from you to pay attention, to pay simply more interest. I don't really know how to say it, but it simply is like that. It doesn't have that much of a profound side, you know. It simply is something that you find yourself doing. It is something that you do, and it is something that you let yourself do also. Because the I would say like this, the shackle of the conscious mind is always to try and change what it is that we are doing when we think the actual, obviously, action which we are realizing is not worthy enough of our time. When in reality, if we already have an interest on doing that, we might as well only need to solidify that part of us instead of really giving away and even more letting that whole sadness and that whole dark idea that arise in our mind when we were bored of what we were doing take control of us. So yes, I guess that is a good way to finish this whole idea, let's say. Water. Okay. I think we have finished the last idea. So yes, I think do we have anything else? No, right? Mm, no. We're very fun. We're very fun. So yeah, with this, I can also say so far. Holy fuck! I am amazing. I am amazing. I am amazing. Oh my god. Yes. Um, what a good way to fuck up. Ah. Yes. 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 There it is. Ah. No, for real, ¿verdad? Sorry. Ah, I guess that's it. so far. Mm. Ah, well, if you were a cartoon brick instead of a potato, I guess I would be happy. A cartoon brick is more complex than a potato, probably. So yes, I will be happy. Probably. I will find myself immersed in more meaning than what I have right now. A simple potato cannot be but a simple potato. So yes, this is it. That is your response. I hope you're happy with that. Because well, who many were to we can try to buy. This is amazing. The opportunity has once again gifted to us. So well, as always, it was beautiful to be here. It was very great. Yeah, I think I need to say it. I will try to take more care of myself because it is, I think, like the day in a row, I am fucking tired and I can't properly stream because yes, I am tired. So it I started the stream with that. It gets harder the more I try, but anyways, it is my responsibility to find a way to do it properly. So yes, no more worries about it. Now we should go and distract ourselves. So yes, let me see. We have some by. Let's see. Please work properly, my brother. Here we have we have a lot of people. I was everybody's live. Wow. So yeah, let me choose one. Uh, wait, is this individual finally streaming? Tell me that they are. I cannot believe it. It has been so long. I am going to be so happy if we can try this one. Let me do it. Tell me that you're not going to be stream. Like it always happens. Because I choose to read somebody and they instantly say, yeah, I'm a stream right now. Okay. They aren't in the stream. We're so fine, man. Yeah! Here. Let me choose this place. Um, yes! This is amazing. Um, anyways, as always, as I said before, please people take care, please. Remember to stay safe. Do you have the right message? Or not? Okay, there it is. The what is finally working this time. Right? So yes, as I was going to say, we we did it. We went through another beautiful experience. As always, thanks lurkers, thanks bot watchers, thanks to those who chat, thanks for being here. It is my most precious gift to be here and do this because as always, it wouldn't be possible if it weren't for your support. So yes, we'll find ourselves in the future. Now it is time to rest, and no matter when it is that it happens, we'll see each other. Just stay safe, meanwhile, and take a rest. Now we're living with a beautiful rain. So yeah, rain.